Questions tonight over a gun dealer here in D.C. and how well it was operated. This is not your standard gun shop.
The ATF is concerned that a number of guns found at crime scenes are coming from one dealer. Guess who the dealer is? Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms, your NRA certification and multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. And if you like channel-like content and what I do here, you can support me with the link. Everything is appreciated. And to my Connecticut residents, plan on getting your Connecticut pistol permit? Please get that training done before July 1st. I would go further and say you make sure you turn your paperwork in before July 1st. If you have your permit, watch the expiration date. Don't let it expire. There's a link to the online renewal portal for the state of Connecticut in the description box. Also to add, April 30th, you must have your firearms that fall under HB 6667 registered or modified in a manner that would exempt them from that registration by April 30th. There's a link in the description box for the DPS 414C form that you're going to use to register those firearms, or make sure you make those modifications before April 30th. But let's talk about this. And this is one of those damn stories. The ATF, after doing an investigation, found that a number of firearms that were showing up at crime scenes were coming from the same dealer. The only problem is that the Metro DC Police Department was that dealer.
As investigative reporter Ted Oberg and the News 4 I-Team found, the area's largest police force ended up being in the firearms business itself. Ted?
Yeah, Jim and Ann, it was a surprise to us as well. You know, when a D.C. resident wants a legal handgun, they usually go to a gun store in Virginia, Maryland, find it online. They pay for it and then ship it to a licensed dealer in D.C. That D.C. dealer is the only place that a federal background check is done, and that looks for past convictions or other disqualifications. And for a time, D.C. police was the only one in town doing them, something that's now raising newly uncovered concern. There are only two people in the entire district who can help you get a legal handgun in D.C., and Sean Poland is one of them.
I wonder if that needs to be modified.
Poland opened D.C. Security Associates in 2021, one of two federal firearms licensees in D.C.
We believe in responsible ownership.
At a time when D.C. had only one other gun dealer, the Metropolitan Police Department. According to everyone we talked to and federal records we've combed through, D.C. was then, and is still now, the only police department anywhere in America to sell guns to the public. The only one. And we've got the records to show how it happened. Fearing Second Amendment scrutiny, D.C. Council passed a law in 2012 allowing the city to deal guns if no private business would do it. And that was the case in the spring of 2020 when Mayor Bowser ordered D.C. police to do it. In April 2020, D.C. police started operating as both the dealer and enforcer of gun laws in the district. D.C. police wouldn't talk to us about Poland's claim, but we do know now where some of those guns ended up. The ATF cracks down on dealers who sell a higher number of guns eventually recovered at crime scenes, forcing them to report more information and participate in what the ATF calls its Demand Letter 2 program. The agency put D.C. police in it after tracking dozens of guns from crime scenes in 2021 alone to MPD gun dealing.
We are not anti-gun dealer at Brady. We are anti-irresponsible gun dealing.
The group Brady United Against Gun Violence recently released hundreds of documents related to the program and found it's really rare to be put in it. But we found 14 dealers in the D.C. area, including Poland's and another who currently operate in D.C., and MPD was on the list too.
It was a little bit surprising to see the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department receive a demand letter.
But not to Poland.
No, does not surprise one bit.
Who says he warned police he didn't think their gun selling practices were tight enough.
I walked in there and it was archaic. The processes, the systems they were using to manage that process, was archaic. I offered advice, had offered little suggestions.
DC police wouldn't tell the I-Team if it took his advice or answer any questions on camera. A spokesperson only telling us, MPD has never sold guns. MPD was required to operate as an FFL to uphold a constitutional right in the district. During that period, the department facilitated the legal transfer of 8,038 firearms.
MPD is ultimately responsible for the public safety of the residents of Washington, D.C. Everything that they do should have an eye towards protecting the public safety.
Before D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser told D.C. police to get into the gun business, she was criticizing Virginia lawmakers for not overseeing dealers in the Commonwealth strictly enough. We found the letter she sent Virginia legislative leaders in January of 2020, urging them to do more to keep guns legally sold in Virginia from being used in D.C. crimes. Illegal guns originating in Virginia are a key driver of gun crime in D.C., Bowser wrote. 4 months later, she signed that mayor's order authorizing D.C.'s police department to become an FFL themselves, and those ATF records show MPD helped sell guns eventually used in crime too.
Yes, the DC police were the only licensed dealer in District of Columbia who was actually processing firearms. And the ATF is saying, well, we're finding too many of those firearms at crime scenes.
But there's another concern the I-Team found, what's called time to crime. The ATF explains, on average, a gun found at a crime scene is 10 years past its first sale. Shorter times, the agency tells us, deserve more scrutiny. And in D.C. Police's case, the time to crime was around 20 months, less than 2 years. Scharf says, even though D.C. Police no longer operate as an FFL, the department should want to know why their time to crime was so much shorter, and be able to tell D.C. families if their loved one was shot with a gun they helped bring into the district.
Woo! Let me come into here. DC police dealt thousands of guns. ATF demands answers after concerning number found at crime scenes. For at least 7 months in 2020 and 2021, the DC's area's largest police department was the only legal gun dealer in the nation's capital. It was the only place DC residents could legally get a gun. That much was reported at the time, but now the News 4 I-Team has the federal documents proving a concerning number of guns the Metropolitan Police Department helped bring into the district ended up at crime scenes. I hope they filled out that 4473 and they checked it properly. I'm just saying. But so many guns recovered at crime scenes in such a brief period that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives placed DC police into a program designed to give extra scrutiny to dealers with higher levels of so-called crime guns. Are they going to take their FFL from them? That zero tolerance policy that Biden put into place, are they going to take their FFL away from them? But MPD's gun dealing was different than what many gun owners may be used to. Theirs was not a typical gun store with display cases and racks of guns to peruse. When a DC resident wants a legal handgun, they usually go to a gun store in Virginia or Maryland or to an online site. They pick the gun out, pay for it, and have it shipped to a licensed dealer in DC. At the time, DC Police Headquarters. That DC dealer plays an important role in the sales process. We know this whole thing. You buy a gun out of state, you have it shipped to an FFL in the state where you live, and you go to that FFL dealer and shoot the firearm. But in recent weeks, the group Brady United Against Gun Violence released hundreds of letters sent by the ATF to gun dealers across the country that sold 25 or more guns recovered at crime scenes in a single year. The I-Team found one sent to MPD in May 2022. ATF calls it the Demand 2 program. This is so funny. It's so ironic. It is. But I'm going to come down to here. According to the ATF, a gun found at a crime scene is on average 10 years along from its first sale, a calculation the ATF calls time to crime. The ATF explained to the I-Team shorter time to crime periods could be indicators of illegal trafficking and could provide crucial intelligence to investigators. The agency says that happens within 3 years of the first sale. It deserves extra scrutiny into the gun dealer. For the dozens of guns required at crime scenes that DC police helped sell, the time to crime was at most 20 months, less than 2 years. DC police have stopped operating as an FFL, but Sharp told the I-Team the department should want to know why that time the crime was shorter and be able to tell DC families if their loved one was shot with a gun they helped bring into the district. Here's a question for you. Seeing that they seem to be taking responsibility, can the person or the family of the person who was shot with one of these guns that they actually transferred, can they sue the police department now? People are out there suing FFLs left and right for guns that they transferred. Are they going to sue the police department? I mean, they have a shorter, on average, time to crime period than the ATF allows. That's crazy. But, quote, MPD is ultimately responsible for the public safety of residents of the Washington, D.C. Sharp said everything that they do should have an eye open towards protecting the public safely. If Washington Metropolitan Police Department is engaged in selling firearms to the public, they have an obligation to the residents of D.C. to make sure they are doing so safely and responsibly. All right. Let's go ahead and comment. This is so funny. I when I read this, I was just like, this is awesome. This is awesome. It shows once again that you can't curb crime by attacking good people. I mean, ultimately, this is the police department. They went through all the steps required under the District of Columbia gun laws to transfer these firearms, and these firearms were still showing up at crime scenes. Now, you know for a fact they're not going to point a finger at MPD. They're going to get a pass on this. Now, if it'd been a regular dealer, he'd be getting sued right now. Or that business would be shut down, as we've seen over and over and over again. But this is the police department. They're going to get a pass. They're going to get a pass. For sure. But I just thought that was a refreshing story to just show you the irony of this whole thing. And boy, this is comedy. This is pure comedy. But ultimately at its core, it shows you that gun control does not work. Here we have a police department who's having the same issues as a federal firearms licensee. And this is just another example of the mess that gun control can create. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.